Can a real estate trust hide the owner of property? Yes, it can. Real estate trusts are regularly used by famous people. I have a number of clients who you might consider celebrities or famous people, and they don't want people to know who owns their real estate. For example, if they buy a cabin in Wisconsin on a lake, they may not want in the public records their name. For example, imagine if you saw Tom Cruise is the owner of a cabin and you know it's a beautiful cabin. You go, oh wow, I bet that's the actor Tom Cruise. Usually celebrities don't want people to know who owns the property. They're looking for some privacy. They also don't want to be sued personally for anything that happens on the property. Celebrities know that they are often a target for lawsuits. And so the last thing they want is their name on public records as being the owner of real estate. So what do? They set up a trust. What is a trust? A trust is a special type of contract that's recognized by state statutes. And the contract essentially says this property is held in kind of a fictional entity called a trust. So the trust gets a name. And it's being managed by a person, that's the trustee, and it's being managed for the benefit of a person. That one's called the beneficiary. By setting up a trust, you can just create essentially a legal entity to own real estate. And that trust generally does not have to be registered anywhere. Unlike an LLC or a corporation where you register the business for it to be established under law, a trust is generally not registered. There are millions of trusts that the government doesn't know about because it just exists on paper. And the only time it matters is if somebody dies associated with the trust or the trust decides to buy property that has a registered owner or registered title. So, how does this work? Let's say that I am representing a celebrity. And the celebrity says, hey, I am tired of running into problems and people knowing where I live. I've had some stalkers, I've had some paparazzi, I really want some privacy. Is there a way to protect my privacy as it relates to my current home? And what I would tell that celebrity is, unfortunately, your name is already in the real estate property records. It's already public information. That information is often online. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about the current real estate. But if you buy real estate in the future, there is something you can do. You can set up a real estate trust. And by the way, this is really just a trust that owns real estate. It doesn't necessarily need to be a specific, there isn't necessarily a category called real estate trusts. There are trusts that have real estate in them, so we call them real estate trusts. So we could set up a trust for this celebrity, and then the trust can buy the next property. Maybe it's a cabin, maybe it's a home, and that we can give the trust a name that would not cause suspicion with the paparazzi. Then nobody will know who owns the property. It will just be the trust. They'll see the trust name on there. That's it. Now, often the name of the person managing the trust, the trustee, can get listed. And so you can hire somebody or a bank trust office to handle that for you as well. That way you get a little even more privacy. Now, will the IRS know? Yeah. The IRS needs to know who's associated with the trust, but that's confidential. If you have a mortgage on the property, will the bank or lender know? Yeah. The bank or lender needs to know who is personally guaranteeing the loan. Banks don't lend money to trusts without a personal guarantee, unless the trust happens to have a significant amount of assets, which typically then the bank will want used as collateral in order to grant a mortgage on the property. So let's circle back. Can a real estate trust hide the owner of property? In other words, can you use a trust to keep confidential who the owner is of real estate? You absolutely can. And it's regularly done. If you're looking for that sort of privacy, a trust is a great way to purchase real estate. All right, that does it for today. I'd love to know if you find this helpful. And by the way, if you have other questions, feel free to add them in the comments section below. We will grab those and use those for future live sessions. You can also submit questions by email or using the form in the description below. I'm Aaron Hall, an attorney for business owners and entrepreneurial companies. This has been an educational broadcast. As always, all these issues I encourage you to use as topics to discuss with your attorney, not as a replacement for an attorney. This is educational information to empower you to avoid problems, establish a great company, and hopefully have a better life. You can find out more about me at aaronhall.com.